Alright, what is up, you beautiful people, and welcome back to another week of Direct Strike Weekly Brawl tier list, boys. Looks like we have the Heroes of the Storm tier, Heroes of the Storm Brawl. So let's go ahead and put down some queens here. Oh, baby. So, Brawl modifiers this week looks like we just have Dehaka, nice and juicy. I'm gonna get a heal, and I'm gonna get a munch, random Tychus Hero, and a Gary. So we got a pretty stacked hero roster here. I'm gonna put down some queens to support them. One of them is gonna get eaten because there's an enemy Dehaka. It's like the queen tax. Well, it's a little unfortunate here. Blaze here. Blaze is like glitching out, boys. He's like stuck between a Dehaka and a Dehaka. I don't know about a Dehaka in a hard place, but we're definitely stuck between a Dehaka and a Dehaka. My Gary, however, is doing pretty well. We got a Swan laser beam. Oh, man. Ooh, it's a party up in here, boys. There is an enemy Dehaka player here. So basically, this week, you're going to hit the ground running. There's not going to be a dull moment, and by the looks of it, I'm going to call it right here, boys. It's a Tychus week. It's a Tychus week, boys. Unless Tychus gets banned. But every time you start with heroes, oh, Tychus just, oh, is so good. Oh, I forgot they made queens cheaper. I keep remembering my queens are like 160 or something, or 150. But yeah, they shifted the cost onto Val Roaches. Roaches used to be 75. But yeah, I think I'm happy with that change. But yeah, anyways, yeah, boys, this is a nice change of pace from Unstoppable and everything. And even the 4 auras. I think this is more of like an OG Direct Strike Weekly Brawl sort of modifier thing. It's good. It's a good one. It's like it'll get to you eventually, but it's not like terrible. I think that's probably my best assessment for this week. It'll get to you. It'll get to you eventually if you play it like 10,000 times like I'm about to. But it's definitely fun for a while. It's fun for a while. This is one of those brawls. Yeah, that's my assessment. We got some tanks coming in here. Oh yeah, we're jumping here by iHask. iHask is usually joining us whenever. I forgot who comes with iHask. Is it Database? I don't remember. Somebody. I have iHask on my friends list, but I think iHask always appears on offline, so I never see them, which is unfortunate because then I can't invite them to a game. But I always remember iHask joining us with in conjunction with someone. I don't remember who it is. My memory is failing me. All the games blend together. You know, when you guys play this many games all at once, it's just all the same thing at this point. I'm gonna get some more healing on my Dehaka. If you just heal and you survive, it'll be good. And I was today years old when I learned that Ravagers are only biological. I could have sworn at one point Ravagers were also armored, but I guess they're only biological, which is pretty good. So yeah, we're just gonna go with some Crusher, Abathur ground with some Ravagers, you know the deal already. Because we have a really solid front line, so this week you can probably go and abuse it by building lots of like small, high DPS boys. Kinda. Gary sort of clamps down on that. But you know, like high enough deep, like I'm thinking like stuff like Cyclones. Cyclones would be very good. Our Swan has decided to just go straight for the tanks, which, you know, I think makes sense, because Swan usually just kind of struggles with having a front line. iHask, however, has a really good front line. Getting Blaze is like premium tier front line. And, oh, I am against an enemy Abathur. Oh, okay, how about that? Well, I mean, sure, boys, let's just drop a mend here. But yeah, I think this week Abathur ground is pretty good in support. I think Rainer's medics are not too bad as well. The only problem is, I think Rainer Bio will succeed this week as well. I think Rainer Bio will have a fun time. But yeah, I just need to keep buying Ravagers, I think, from experience. Do I need to get some roaches to accompany Dehaka? Oh my god, Warzone coming out here with invisible void rays, boys. Yeah, let's get a single roach for the Dehaka attacks. This roach is just purely gonna be a snack. Actually, you know what? Can I get another one? Okay, it's not. I'm not gonna have another one in time. Unfortunately, yeah, that roach is gonna be a Dehaka snack here. There we go. And then what else do I need to get? I'm not gonna get adaptive plating just yet because I only have one roach. Oh, he's opting for Guardians here, boys. Let me just eat that real quick, eh? I don't want to deal with none of that. Boom. Okay, well, if he's opting for Guardians, I don't know. I've never actually liked Guardians. Like, every time I build Guardians into big boys, I'm always struggling. So I feel like I'm just gonna call the ball here. And maybe I will buy, like, you know, a few Devours and see where that takes me. But yeah, I like how just Nux is, like, in the middle of all these Zerg. He's just chilling. He's like, yeah, boys. Just another Sunday. Sunday fun day. But yeah. Let's see, let's put down some... Ooh, can I not right-click this? I can't right-click to auto-cast this? Bruh. I can't auto-cast my... Okay, whatever. I guess it's like a feature, I guess, you know? It's a feature. It's a feature. Okay, we have some more Guardians here. Enemy Abathur has very few units. It's very strange. My one Roach here actually not gonna die to the Dehaka attacks here. I probably should help my Devour out by building a few more of them. Devours, I think, are good against, like, crowds of enemies, but not quite too good against bigger targets. Still, the Ravagers can help out as well, really nicely. Especially the Biomass Ravager, honestly. Okay, so let's see. I'm gonna build another Ravager here. I'm gonna get some more Roaches. But yeah, like, I think Abathur looks pretty good this week, I think. But I feel like there's other commanders who are just way stronger, I would feel, with this composition altogether. If you know what you're doing, like, Tychus this week is like, oh my god. Like, I think you can start with Tychus this week, because he already has, like, so many buddies to tank for him. And then you can do whatever after that. Like, I don't know. Like, maybe buy Nikara would probably make the most sense. If you didn't start with the Blaze, then you can definitely get something to help out with that as well. And yeah, let's see, Dehaka, I'm gonna get some extra armor upgrades on you. I probably should get some more Queens, actually. Devour's just gonna murder those Guardians. There we go. There we go, that's it. There we go. They struggle against Gary and also being hit by the cannon at the same time, but, you know, that's expected. I should probably expand my line so I can include some more Queens. So let's do that. Abathur Queens are actually not too bad in keeping things alive, and they only cost 2 biomass to upgrade to be healers. We're gonna get the cannon here. Now I should third gas? Now I could third gas. I'm gonna actually push the momentum here, put down some more Roaches, and then I'll third gas. But yeah, like Swan's tanks are pretty crazy, boys. If you guys have not seen the 1000 HP Swan tanks video, be sure to go check it out, boys, because that was a spicy video. But yeah, let's see. I'm gonna go for Corrosive Spray AoE because it looks like I'm gonna need it. Okay, I just have so many Ravagers. Everything here just explodes, and I do not have detection. Some things never change, boys. Some things never change. Wuju's never buys detection, and oh, I can't make Nux a detector, man. That's the worst part, eh? I wish I could just make Nux a detector. But I can't. It's not that handy. Well, that's not my Nux. Okay. Oh well. Let's put this down over here. I have 2 Overlords because they match. You know? It's matching. Let's see. I think I might want to tier 3 after I gas. But that's a huge tempo loss, it feels like. I'm gonna drop a little scan here. But yeah, these tanks are just crushing it. I was gonna recommend going Cyclones, actually, as Swan. Probably still better to go Cyclones over the Goliaths, I would say, because Goliaths are kind of... They're hella squishy, boys. Ooh, not microing your Ravagers. That's a mistake there. He could have hit my line pretty hard there. But I'll be honest, I'm not microing my Ravagers either, so I'm not really one to speak. But you know, it's a thing. Most of the time they're pretty good. Like 80% of the time they do a good job. Let's see. I think what I need is something in the air to murder those swarm hosts because I am pushing up into them. And he does have aerial burst sacks. So against aerial burst sacks, you want cheap units like Mutalisk. So let's do that. You want cheap units like Mutalisk here. Mutalisk will be able to hard counter those really nicely because they don't have splash, so they only hit 1 unit at a time. And the good thing about Abathur Mutalisk is they're absolutely cracked as well. So they're gonna tear through everything that has any amount of armor. So that's my hope as well, that I'm gonna be able to do that. There we go. Ooh, we're hurting, boys. Okay, they hit my Overlord. They hit my Gary. Okay. We're getting close to him. Devourer's over here chilling. Just got wiped out. Come on, boys. Oh boy. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna get some more Ravagers actually. That'll probably help out here. I'm gonna get another Biomass Ravager here. Get another Ravager over here. I'm starting to think I'm gonna need some Vipers actually. Literally just bought 5 Mutalisk and called it a day. I think actually we will be able to call it a day. Vorzoon's Void Rays are just gonna tear it up here, boys. That is how you clean house, boys, with Abathur. What did enemy Abathur spend their money on? How do they have so few units? I don't understand. What do they do? What did they do? I feel like there has to be some money that went somewhere. He doesn't have any upgrades. Like, he probably has those, like, cause I literally have the same stuff in larger amounts. Like, I have Queens. I have 10 Ravagers. He's got 10 Ravagers. He's got 5 Guardians, which actually cost around the same amount as my Queens and the Roaches, probably. Actually, yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't like the Guardians. They're quite costly, and iHask here actually just showing up with 74k damage. I think that's the potential of the tanks plus the laser beam, I think. We got some little baby lag on our screen here. There we go. Tanks, laser beam, hella good. Oh yeah, that's beautiful. Okay, so you know what? Maybe this week's one is actually really good. Maybe this week's one's really good. I'm gonna have to adjust the tier list in a moment. But this is a short game, so I kind of want to do another round. So let's do it. All right, and we're back, and it looks like our opponents are in a 1v3 situation. That is spicy. Well, I have a Blaze here, so I'm gonna put my main man up here at the front. I should put my Dehaka slightly behind him. I didn't gas yet. Oops, there we go. But yeah, okay. It's just it's gonna be a 1v3. I like that. I like that. That's gonna be interesting. I'm actually gonna get my Munch move maybe later. There we go. I'm gonna get my Scream here. Oh, it's an enemy Boswell. Wait, Blaze actually counters Boswell now, because he does bonus damage to light. Like, Blaze is now the premier tank. The premier tank, boys. It's over, boys. Oh no, but Blaze has got to deal with endless amounts of Boswell coming through, boys. Let me get another Queen here, actually, and then I kind of want to get... What do I get? Let's see. Can my Dehaka get another point and bite? Oh, now there's 2 Garys. Oh, jeez. Oh, jeez. My Kings can't handle 2 Garys. Well, we got an Abathur here with some Roaches coming out. Roaches are actually pretty good against Boswell too now, because Boswell's a light unit. Oh my god. That's actually a huge nerf, honestly. Like, Boswell being a type unit. I guess it makes Tychus less of a menace. I think normally Boswell is typeless, but holy, look at those Queens, boys. Look at those Queens. I'm gonna have to upgrade my weapon attacks for my Queens, boys. Like, I don't know how I'm gonna deal with them. I'm gonna have to be the one to take down all these Queens. Oh my god, all those Garys. Oh god. There's so much Gary, boys. Oh no, there's so much Gary, it's scary. What am I gonna do? Like, should I just get some more Queens? Nah, Ravagers are still the answer, though, I think. Ravagers still do quite a lot of damage with their AoE attacks. But yeah, those Garys are gonna be pretty menacing for an early start. What is going on here? Who is in charge of placing the cannons? Oh my god. Who did this? Whom has done this? Okay, anyways, we'll just do that there. Put all the Spore Crawlers there. I'm going to increase Potent Bile. And then we'll increase the impact range here. Okay. Boom. I'm going to Mend here. I don't think that's going to be enough. I'm going to get some extra healing on my Dehaka. There we go. We're going to kill one of them. Oh, the Ravagers should do fine. Their Bile Blast will eventually cut into it. Yeah, I think the formula this week with Abathur is probably still gonna be. It's probably just gonna be ground Abathur. You can't really go Mutalisk because there's a Gary like every single wave, and Gary's just gonna completely eat your Mutalisk alive. And we're actually against a Stetman. Holy. Wait, Stetman, he's gonna have... Oh, that's why there's so many Garys coming out. I was like, why are there so many Garys? Of course, because Stetman also has his own Gary, boys. When you got your own Gary. Okay, let's go. Let's give me another Ravager, boys. Hit me up with another Ravager. I'm gonna get a second gas right about now, because I think that would not be too bad. I might have to build some Brutalisk, actually, because he might build some Banelings. And Banelings coming out every wave is actually pretty scary, boys. There we go. That's going to help me crush that. Oh my god. This is not the correct time to gas, actually. We just got to keep putting pressure down here. We got to keep piling on pressure. Well, maybe give Blaze better oil spill, actually. High capacity oil spill containers. Maybe when we have to... when we're spawning on the field, because the oil containers, they hit like something else, boys. They hit different when they're high capacity. Let's see, queens. Maybe I should biomass some of these queens though, because they could help my wave keep up with the healing. Let's see. I mean, if I biomass the queens, they're also pretty strong against air, stronger normally than they normally are. There we go. I'm gonna set that up there, so it's gonna auto cast. We'll have our first Ravager upgraded in 5 minutes though, which is better than what it used to be. I think it used to be like 3 minutes per biomass, so at 6 minutes you get an upgraded Ravager. There we go. I'm gonna get another point in bite, I guess. Boswell's gonna go down here. Oh yeah, we got a fat line. I'm gonna drop a mend here. Oh yeah, it's all coming together, boys. Ravager's stacking up here. I'm gonna get this Ravager in the middle, give you some biomass, and then I'll put down another Ravager. I don't know. Oh yeah, I think Ravagers are basically Abathur's version of siege tanks. I think that's probably the best way to put it. They're like siege tanks at the cost of a Cyclone, with the catch that they only shoot like once every like 10 seconds. But it's non-negotiable damage that they do, and it's like a pretty chunky AoE too. So you know what? Like, I think it's worth it. It's cost effective. But I don't know why Stetman is building only Hydralisk. I feel like there are several better options at this point. But maybe it's an experiment, boys. Maybe it's an experiment. You know, it's a social experiment. You know, camera's right there. Actually, camera's right here. You guys are looking at it. You know, I'm just gonna increase my weapon damage all the way, and we're just gonna try and mend our way through this stuff here. Let's go. Let's mend. I used mend way too many times there. I'm gonna increase my armor as well. Is that gonna be able to cut it? Oh, come on. Oh, it's not gonna be able to cut it. Well, not quite, not quite. Okay, well, we always have more mends here. Good thing is though, the Hydralisks are actually good against what Vorzun decided to build, which are Void Rays. Sure. Man, I miss having super thick Ravagers from Unstoppable. That was honestly kind of dumb. Let's see, we got some Corruptors coming out here. Okay. Allied Abathur has opted to get a lot of Queens with Biomass, which actually is not too bad. They're like healing up pretty nicely. Boom. Okay, my Ravager's just going for it there. Dropping their Bile Blast. Because like the Hydralisks do not stand a chance against the Bile Blast at all. Like they just die instantly. Like this wave just melts. Look at that. Melts just like butter on a hot piece of bread, boys. A beauty. There we go. I suppose at some point Banelings would have been really helpful, just because like Ravagers clump together so nicely. Just excellent explosion there. Actually did the most damage on my team, which is pretty nice. Nice, yeah. I don't know, Ravagers are great for damage output if you're playing Abathur. Okay. Oh, Blaze has 2 weapon upgrades. I forgot about that one. Okay. All right. Well, now let's get right onto the tier list, boys. All right, and we're back. Let's get right into it. You know, game plans. We're gonna look at the auras, overall strategy, commander rankings. So let's go. And if you guys have made it this far and you guys are not yet subbed, be sure to drop a sub and a like if you guys have enjoyed the video so far. So, Brawl modifiers, we have Lizzy Brigade. We're gonna start with the Dehaka Hero. We have Heaven's Devil. We start with a random Tychus Hero. So hopefully you get a good Tychus Hero, like either Blaze as a tank, or I would say Tychus or Sam for DPS. Kev is all right, and anyone else who's not that is like not that great. But I think Vega might be the best against Manx, because then you can steal one of his royal guards. But Vega generally is not good. Is not good. Vega's not good. And then we also have Gary. Free Gary. That's it. So pretty simple. I think the strategy this week is, I think I already talked about it a little bit in the game already, but it's like you just want to build anti-thick boy units, or you want to build thick boy protection squad. And if your commander can build both, then that's perfect. Your commander is going to do very well this week. So who do I think is going to be top of the list? Bam. S tier, I think 100% hands down going to be Tychus. Because Tychus is, well, you start with like 2 extra meat shields. Generally a good thing. Yeah, I don't know. I think in general, like with the least effort, I think Tychus will do very well this week. But if you don't know what you're doing on Tychus this week, though, it's not like a free win. I don't think it's a free win. But yeah, I think Tychus is hella good. Anyways, next is Dehaka. I think Dehaka is actually S tier because of his very powerful anti-thick boy capacity. If you go Impalers, he does a really good job. Although, I don't know, maybe the Impalers aren't strong enough to like get through all the thick boys. So maybe Dehaka might actually deserve to be switched somewhere to like B tier. I'm tempted to actually put Abathur up here instead, because Abathur has the capacity to. I put him in the B, but you know, maybe we'll have to play around and we'll see if the Dehaka really deserves to be S. But I just feel like just the extra thickness. Although Dehaka doesn't come with extra DPS. Rabbitosaurs could be okay, but like I would prefer that you build Impalers, because they're just good against everything on the ground. Dehaka's one weakness is going to be the enemy Gary though, so that is kind of an issue. I think also an S tier is going to be Raynor, at least for maybe like, I don't know, the first few waves. Raynor has the possibility to just go Raynor Bio with all those extra thick boys in front, and you gotta slap on some medics, and you should be having a great time up until enemy Dehaka gets Fire Breath. Then you're having a bad time. But yeah, I think Raynor Bio is pretty strong. Even just like opening medics gonna be pretty nuts, because the medics will just keep all your boys alive. All you need is, I think, 5 medics. One of them is going to get eaten, and then like the other 4... Actually, no, I lied. 4 medics is all you need. 4 medics is all you need. But yeah, pretty solid. And then I think, you know, obviously Raynor, you can call in the Hyperion. You can probably end up switching from Bio into like Death Fleet with Vikings and stuff. It'll be a slow transition, but definitely worth it. Or you can just stick with Bio and be a madman. Just keep running it down. That might work. Dehaka can't roast everyone. But also depends on like who you get. I think in the A tier, we probably have our commanders that are probably going to be the most consistent this week. I think Alarak's going to be an A, because Alarak himself adds quite a good amount of DPS. And his Havocs can make his own hero units do more damage. He can also like increase the range. He can also kill off enemy hero units. Maybe not right at the get-go, but you can always grab those huge Wrathwalkers. The Wrathwalkers will be a little costlier though, because they will be targeted down by Gary and they will be focused down by Dehaka, but eventually Alarak will be able to smash all these units. And so maybe in the early game, like some Slayers could help out. Slayers and Havocs to, like, you know, just keep the damage down. I think Stetman is A as well. I wouldn't want to put him any higher, because Gary's pretty powerful, but I'm assuming you're going to see a lot of Tychus this week, and Stetman really struggles into Tychus, I think. I don't think he really has anything good into Tychus anymore. Before it was Battle Carrier Lords could like maybe manage, and maybe with this week it might be manageable because there's more meat shielding at the front. But yeah, like, I don't know, he doesn't got any good. If you're not against Tychus though, Stetman I think is pretty fire. Because your stack breaker build can just go in with at the same time with like 2 of your heroes probably, and you get an extra Gary. Extra Gary just adds extra DPS because you can also turn into Super Gary. I don't think they actually give you multiple Zerg parts, but like they just both collect. But But yeah, like you just have more DPS coming out from there. So overall, pretty good if you're just against not Tychus. I think Nova's going to be okay because Nova's snipe will help you win the initial trade, most likely. And Nova also heals and regenerates, so she's going to be pretty good. And in terms of what build Nova could use, I think you could do like an initial contact Nova this week for like the first opener, which is like Marauder Commandos. Just cap off your opponents with those Magro munitions, and then you can transition into probably a DFG build, because you will have to deal with a Gary, so you will need some Goliaths, and tanks will probably be a good choice here. I don't know if you need Hellbats actually too soon, so you might be able to go straight into like the damage, like the juicy bits of the DFG, so that'll be nice. And I think the last person in A tier actually is Kerrigan. So Kerrigan as a hero is crazy. She does like 400 damage initial contact to whatever it is that she's attacking. And you can also buy her queens, which heal for a hefty amount each time. So that can really be useful to support. And then you can switch into Hydralisk, which will get burned, but you can just get more of them. And also Ultralisk, I think, might not be too bad just to keep the boys, like the big boys, occupied. So yeah, I feel like Kerrigan this week potentially is very powerful. She might have problems dealing with enemy Gary though, because Gary will vaporize basically anything she's got for anti-air. That's why you just got to buy lots of them. Just buy lots of Hydras. And in the B tier, I think we have commanders who will be doing on average pretty good. Not like crazy good, I think, but like, so Abathur, I might actually reconsider moving him up because he has the capacity to keep his units alive with his queens. To keep all the big boys alive at the front. And Abathur's always suffered from a lack of a real big unit at the front that doesn't cost like tier 3 and a bunch of minerals, aka the Brutalisk, and also like a unit that doesn't suck that's the front line. You can also Biomassive Roach, but this week is highly unadvisable for that because Dehaka is just going to eat it for a snack. And yeah, Ravagers like just tear through big boys pretty nicely too, because they just do like flat AoE damage, so that's just really good. So I feel like Abathur actually might deserve to be higher after playing through him here. I think I have Manx in the B tier because his Royal Guards are really gonna suffer, because everyone's gonna have a Dehaka. So like you're just gonna lose Royal Guards left and right. So you probably have to build stuff like Sky Furies and like Aegis Guard this week. I don't know. Maybe you could go for tanks actually, like if you can have the line, like. I think probably tanks would be the best option, I'll be honest, because like they can do quite a bit of damage. Or maybe you could do something where like you wrap your tank in a box. So you buy a tank, put it on the medevac. I think when Dehaka eats it, he only eats the medevac. We'll test that one out. Yeah, Manx boys kind of struggle here too because Gary AoE is pretty nasty. That'll keep Manx's boys in check. So I don't know. I think starting off with Manx might be a little rough. Boys. And then the next B tier, we have Stukov. I'm not quite sure how Stukov is going to work this week. I think Stukov's overall, like, probably just ground Stukov with your bunker Diamondback, but maybe this time you can just rush Diamondback first, because you don't really need the bunker just quite yet because there's so many units. You also don't want a bunker because the Dehaka will eat it and then get thorns, and then all the Marines inside will die. And then everything else will die. So it's probably best for Stukov this week to rush Diamondbacks or Banshees. And yeah, and go from there. Maybe build some tanks. Maybe eventually add some bunkers. But definitely not bunkers early on, because it's a huge cost investment for not much returns. Also, initially getting some Marines might be okay, but make sure you keep them on the sides so that Gary's E-Gorb does not get to them, or all of them at once. Next in the B tier, I have Artanis. I think with Artanis this week, you could probably do something pretty nice with like a full ground crusher comp with Immortals, Dragoons, you know, the whole deal. Archons, depending if you need it, I don't know. Or you could just go straight for Tempest Enjoyment, which could be really spicy because the first Tempest is always going to die. But you know, who doesn't like a little spice? Actually, maybe like some Phoenixes actually would be hilarious, just like to get rid of the enemy Gary first. And then in the B tier, we have Warzone. I think Warzone this week, with their black hole ability to manipulate the battlefield, and I think just going pure like DTs and then dominating the skies with like Corsair Void Ray might be pretty good. Although Gary might be a problem with that. Will present a problem with that strategy because Gary does have decently, I think he has decently high armor and health, and Corsairs don't really rip through armored targets that quickly. But that's what your Void Rays are here for, so hopefully that'll help. But your air is still going to struggle against Dehaka, which is a massive unarmored target. So, yeah. And in the C tier, we have commanders that I think have potential, but I struggle to see how they will get off the ground. Han and Horner might deserve to be higher, because I'm thinking you can probably open grenade cars. Grenade cars are pretty good against enemy heroes that are on the ground. And then transition into strictly Deimos Vikings, I would say. Or just not even transition, just have Deimos Vikings. That could possibly be really good, but it's just they're costly. But every time I say that, like, I don't know, Han Horn ends up being like still pretty good. So we'll have to see. And then we have Zagara. Zagara as a hero doesn't really do much. She's got some Banelings. She doesn't really add a lot to your DPS. She really has to go to tier 3 to get Hunter Killers. Hunter Killers is where it's at when you're trying to like destroy enemy heroes. So she's gonna be struggling in the early game, but you know what's different. But I think later on she might not be too bad. Like, I feel like this week you could probably just go Hunter Killers, like just mass Hunter Killers, in a way that you would normally not be able to do, I think. But yeah, we'll see. And then Karax has potential. I always say that because he's got his beam. You got the push. I just don't see how his tier 1's going to work out. You'll probably have to go like Sentinels with the revive to like meet shield for your units on the ground, and then hope your Gary does not take aggro, and then he can win the air fight, or like not like take too much damage and he can win the air fight. Although I think Gary gets repaired by your repair beam passive, so that's actually not too bad. But in terms of like transitioning from that build, not quite sure. It depends what your opponent does, but like you still are gonna struggle getting through some of the thick boys, especially because Dehaka's gonna get thicker and thicker. You'll probably have to do something with like, I think inefficiently will have to be Annihilators. Efficiently, you'll probably want to get Carriers, but like Carriers are probably more inefficient in the short term because the first one's gonna get eaten, so you have to get 2 of them for there to be any effect. So I don't know. I feel like it might be ground. It might be ground Karax this week until you can transition safely. I don't know. And then finally, we have our D tier residents, Swan and Phoenix. I think Swan actually, based on what IHAS did there with the tank rush, could potentially be pretty good. Get some science vessels afterwards, and yeah, it's just like your early, like probably like first 3-4 minutes could be a little bit of a struggle. Laser beam definitely helps out your heroes to win though. Yeah, I was thinking going Cyclones as well as a suggestion, just to like, you know, just quickly tear down your opponent's units, but they don't really scale too well past that point. So tanks is probably still the way to, it's probably the way to go eventually. You'll need tanks. You'll want tanks, and I think you'll have breathing room to have tanks. You don't actually have to get to Thors and then tanks, because I think like with Swans, it's like Thors are definitely integral. They give your tanks that time to set up. I think getting tanks before Thors at any point sort of just feels really bad. And I think this week you can probably get away with getting tanks before Thors. You can probably do it because there's so many heroes. Phoenix is in the D tier because yeah, I don't see how I can see how Phoenix could deal with the ground heroes. Phoenix himself is a pretty strong ground hero. It's just like everything else that comes after dealing with the heroes, right? Like your opponent's wave is still there. And the Gary AoE is pretty fearsome against most of Phoenix's tier 1 ground. They're just all going to get like beat up a little bit by that E-Gorb. That's going to be pretty bad news. Phoenix's anti-hero capacity on the ground isn't really that high. You just sort of have to brute force it, I think, with like Legionaries, Immortals, and Adepts. Yeah, but then you still have your opponent's wave to look at, like with the rest of it, which I don't know. I just don't see Phoenix doing too well this week. Phoenix Air is not great, but unfortunately, in order to win the air battle, he will probably need scouts this week because Gary will do a really good number on your Adepts, and your Adepts also have tiny range and they don't attack fast enough to really like chunk down Gary. substantially. So you will probably need a few scouts here or there, maybe just the mojo and like 2 or 3 escorts. But yeah, if your opponent goes there, then like you're kind of like, oh boy. But yeah, I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about the rankings in the comment section down below. And yeah, until next time, I will see you guys later.
The tires. Let's light some fires. Need a light. They picked the wrong fight.